Hi, I am Nuttanart Facundes, and I am going to present Language by the design of second language learning application using lexical approach by Nuttanart M Facundes and my co-author, Bunjaran Siri Nawakun. Here we are. I am an assistant professor from Computer Engineering Department, King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand, and my research interest is computational linguistics and natural language processing. My co-author, Professor Dr. Bunjaran Siri Nawakun, is former Dean of Faculty of Engineering at KMUTT, and he is currently the CEO of Knowledge Exchange Center, King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. His research interest is AI. Introduction: the ability of using languages to communicate distinguish humans from other living things. It is a fascinating human capability that allows us to express our thoughts, ideas, and emotions into words. And humans, we acquire this ability to use the first language naturally. But the question is why second language learner cannot master their second language or L2 as well as their first language or L1. The literature review. According to the pioneer of modern linguistics, Ferdinand de Saussure, language comprises two-dimensional paradigmatic and syntagmatic relations. Paradigmatic relations refer to the elements that can replace one another or choices, and syntagmatic relations define combinatory possibility or how elements combine into a sentence or chain. While syntagmatic relations are about sentence structures, word order, and relation among elements in a sentence, paradigmatic relations encompass semantic or word meanings as well as category information. To explain language production planning in terms of paradigmatic and syntagmatic relations, we have thoughts or concepts to express semantic and categories, and we arrange them into an utterance or a sentence. Language production is assumed to be the same for both first language and second language. That is, L1 and L2 language learner learn by labeling objects in one word stage and having something to express about those objects. These are the relations between words. Additionally, L2 learners bridge or tie their L2 concept to L1 concept. What might be different is that older children and adults apply the rules they consciously learn to self-correct their language production. Meanwhile, some of the rules are not fully internalized, resulting in lagging behind in L2 production. According to Michael Lewis, an important part of learning a language is the ability to understand and produce lexical phrases or chunks such as hot and spicy or make a point, what he called lexical approach to language learning. Suppose second language learners of English learn a new word like crew. They might find the translation of this word in L1 and think or learn of other words associated with it like ship, sailor, fly, and airline. The learning of the word crew is not complete until it is placed in an appropriate sentence or a context. Therefore, the way the learner's lexicon is built up cannot be separate from the grammar and vice versa. Our study. This research is established on the lexical approach and paradigmatic, syntagmatic relations in second language learning. Language learning in chunks benefit the learners in terms of facilitating learners' fluent processing and production, conferring indirect or idiomaticity interpretation, and providing raw material for subsequent language development. At present, to apply this research to the teaching and learning of second languages, it is undeniable that we need to consider the current pandemic situation in which the normal or traditional classroom teaching and learning cannot happen. We present the design and development of an educational web application called Bite-Size English, aimed for second language learner of English to learn beyond words by themselves. Our research question. In designing our application, we aim to answer the question of which chunk to learn and when for the learner. There are criteria for selecting a lexical chunk for language learner, including utility, frequency, fixedness, idiomaticity, and teachability. So in our methodology, the design of Bite-Size English is based on utility, meaning that the contents of which chunk to learn are not determined by grammar like in textbook, but on the basis of their usefulness and relevance to the learner purpose in learning. In this case, we provide real text from newspaper, blogs, or story, which learner can choose and start learning by identifying chunks from such text in the first component of our system. Then, the application directs learners' attention to the compositional features of chunks and the usage in real text in the second component. These are the two components of Bite-Size English web application. The first component, Take a Bite. This is where the learner select the text and play a game with the system by detecting lexical chunks from the text of interest. And the second component, Lingual Kitchen. This is where the learner builds personalized lexicon or vocabulary lists as a result of game playing. The practice of generating sentences using lexical chunks are available in this component as well. So let's see the detailed process of Take a Bite and Lingual Kitchen. In Take a Bite, the learner select the interested text from which they want to find lexical chunks. The learners read the text and they will be asked to input the lexical chunk that they have found. After that, they can check for chunks that they found compared with the answer from the system. The learners can receive more explanation about the lexical chunk as well as give feedback to the system. And for the process of Lingual Kitchen, the learner can stock their kitchen or create a vocabulary list by importing the lexical chunk they have learned from Take a Bite part or build from scratch. They can then use the lexical chunks to practice generating sentences and or adding context or picture that can help them to understand and use the chunk better. The results. We have designed the overall architecture of Bite-Size English, and now we are in the process of developing and deploying the web application with a complete user interface and data. Discussion. In designing Bite-Size English, we started by aiming to raise the awareness of chunks in language by having the learner identify chunks from authentic material. These correspond to the awareness-raising approach of teaching and learning in lexical approach. We take into consideration the need for deliberate teaching of vocabulary rather than incidental learning, but we adopt the new approach in teaching and learning of vocabulary and grammar usage at the same time. Implications. Learners learning lexical chunks by themselves via Bite-Size English imply the value of having learners make decisions about the item they are learning, according to the principle that the more one engages with the word in deeper processing, the more likely the word will be remembered for later use. Conclusion. In our research, we investigate the issue of second language learning within the linguistic and language production framework. We explain the language competence by knowledge of paradigmatic and syntagmatic relation as well as lexical approach. With this basis, we have designed an educational web application for second language learning, Bite-Size English, that incorporates the learning of words and phrases hand in hand with grammar. Suggestion for further research. One of the future challenges is to help learners become aware of the pervasiveness of lexical chunk of phraseology and its potential in promoting fluency in learning later. Acknowledgement. This work has been supported by the research grant from the Faculty of Engineering, King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand, to myself. These are the references. Thank you very much.